It's the biggest food fight of the year, GMO labeling, and it's about to get messy. Today on The Dr. Oz Show, we reveal what's being done in Congress right now, the vote that may deny your right to know what's in your food. Plus, you demanded your favorite companies drop GMOs, and some did. We'll tell you what it means for you. We cut through the clutter in our Food Truth series. Coming up next.
We'll save lives today. You guys ready to get healthy? When it comes to your health and your right to know, I believe in complete transparency. So there's one story that is brightly on my radar. The House of Representatives passed the Safe and Accurate Food Labeling Act of 2015. It's a mouthful. Now, this bill specifically prohibits states from passing laws to label GMO foods. Critics have dubbed this the Dark Act, the Deny Americans the Right to Know Act. Now, in a Consumer Reports poll, 92% of Americans said that you actually favor labeling GMO foods. And there are some companies that heard your outcry, and they're eliminating GMO foods from their products voluntarily. At least they're labeling them. So we're going to tell you what you can expect there. Then on the show, are you a picky eater? Today we've got some hilarious sayings that describe what it's like to be a picky eater, some interesting observations about them. And we're going to switch gears after that and talk with food maven Sandra Lee. Her double mastectomy a few months ago made headlines around the world, and she's here today to tell us how cancer made her better. Those are her words, made her better. But first, it's the food fight of 2015, GMO labeling. I just want to figure out what your thoughts are on this. Who wants to comment on GMO labeling? What do you know about, upset about? You're way up there, ma'am. I'll come to you in 1 second. Or come on down to the bottom of the stairs, I'll get to you next. Go ahead, ma'am.
So I just recently took a shopping center tour with a nutritionist. And what I found was anything that was labeled as GMO-free, organic GMO-free, was either not at eye level, it was either higher up or it was lower down, or it wasn't labeled very clearly to where the products that, if they were sold over in Europe, they would be labeled with all of the GMOs. The products here, I'm not going to name any brands, but those are the ones that are at the views, the people that are paying to have their products where we would pick them up and easily purchase them, the ones that are on sale.
Well, you use that word easy. I think we actually make it hard to do the right thing and easy to do the wrong thing sometimes. Yes, ma'am.
I think that the GMO labeling helps others to understand what they're putting into their body. If, like sodium, if you have hypertension, it's important to know how much milligrams of sodium you're intaking every day, calorie counting. So I think it's very important for those reasons.
Well, before you leave, let me just tempt you a little bit. What if, and this is what the opponents say, and they have some validity to this, what if GMOs aren't really a health risk? And that labeling them, therefore, doesn't actually make you healthier. Should they still be labeled? Thoughts on that? Hands up. Go ahead, ma'am.
I agree with kind of what you're saying, because in my experience, I've had both eaten organic and non-GMO and all that, or the others, and I feel like we're just paying for the more expensive stuff. And it's just as healthy to eat the, GMO.
Okay. And over here, I think I have a different opinion. Go ahead, ma'am.
We all need to make proper choices, and I believe people who don't care, it wouldn't matter anyway, and people who do care what they put in their body, they would need the knowledge to see it, to be educated properly if they want the education.
So you say, give us the choice. We're
Exactly.
Americans, most things,
Absolutely.
and we've heard about the food label comparison. I think these are rational ones. So here's the deal. I sent my investigative reporter and one of my core team members, Elizabeth Leamy, to find out what's in this new law before Congress and why it's become such a hot button issue.
The fight over GMO labeling is heating up on Capitol Hill as consumer advocates mount a campaign to beat industry-backed legislation that would leave the nation without a mandatory labeling standard. That legislation was introduced by Representative Mike Pompeo of Kansas in March. The law would allow foods to be voluntarily labeled as genetically modified, but not require them to be labeled. allow foods labeled as natural to continue to contain genetically modified ingredients. And most controversial of all, this federal law would preempt state laws that already do require labeling of genetically modified foods. In July, the bill passed the House by a vote of 275 to 150. If it becomes law, it will strike from the books a law requiring GMO labeling in Vermont and jeopardize similar laws pending in Connecticut, Maine, and maybe future states. The Senate is set to vote on the bill this fall. What will they decide? Does your right to know hang in the balance?
So why should you care about this bill and about companies growing GMO crops? Well, let me walk you through a reasonable argument. Farmers grow GMO crops like corn and soybeans for important reasons. They have been genetically re-engineered to survive chemical sprays like those found in the herbicide glyphosate. In Roundup, for example, that kills all those weeds. It makes it easier for farmers to grow crops that we need. When farmers spray Roundup, these weeds die up, but the weeds get smart over time. And because they get smart, those same herbicides don't kill them. So we have to design new GMO crops that can withstand even more powerful herbicides. So now these strong weeds, as smart as they are, they still get knocked off. These new updated, more powerful herbicides kill everything but these new GMO foods, and the cycle continues. Now listen, this is important. The GMO crops themselves aren't necessarily a risk to your health. What I and many others worry about is that these herbicides that can now be used in high doses can change our hormones and change the environment. Scott Faber is a senior vice president of the Environmental Working Group. He's been fighting for food safety and your food rights for almost 30 years. So how big a deal is this bill?
Well, this is a huge deal. Consumers in 64 countries around the globe, not just Europe, but countries like China and Russia have the right to know what's in their food. But if this bill passes this fall in the Senate, the American consumer will have no idea what they're eating. They'll be left in the dark. And it's no surprise that this bill passed the House. Big food and big biotech companies spent $50 million just in the first 6 months of this year alone to lobby Congress. We always knew the real fight would be in the Senate. And if we lose, we'll simply lose the right to know what we're eating.
Science is being invoked in the arguments around this bill. Should it be?
Yeah, this is a fight about transparency, not technology. This is a fight about whether or not people can have basic information about food, just like knowing about salt and sugar and fat. We just want the facts and given the opportunity to figure this out for ourselves. But look, as you said, the science is incredibly clear. Yeah. The widespread adoption of these GMO crops has led to an explosion in the use of glyphosate, an herbicide that's now been linked to cancer and other very serious health problems.
So I take very seriously the idea of presenting all sides of any scientific argument. So I tried. I reached out to the Grocery Manufacturers Association, the Biotechnology Industry Organization, representatives from Mike Pompeo's office. That's who introduced the bill. They all declined to come on, but they sent statements. I'm going to put them all on DrOz.com, but I'll give you an example of one. This is a statement from the Grocery Manufacturers Association. It said, the Safe and Accurate Food Labeling Act is a reasonable bill that sets a national science-based labeling standard that prevents confusion and provides certainty for consumers in food labeling. So what do you think about the assertion that it provides certainty?
Well, the only thing that's certain is that if this bill passes the Senate this fall, the American consumer will have no idea whether their food contains GMO ingredients or not.
So I couldn't get them to come on the show, but I did speak to food manufacturers off the record. I was curious. I want to understand. These are rational people, and I think most are trying to do the right thing. So they find it hard to make labels for different states. I get that completely. Why would you want to make a different label in New Hampshire than you make in Vermont? It's right across the border. It's a pain in the neck and it's confusing. But interestingly, they were sort of supportive of the idea of GMO labeling, as long as it wasn't this big, huge label on every one of their products. So just like we've talked about, we all want sugar on our labels, right? We want to have fat. We didn't used to, by the way. Now we have it. It helps you guys make decisions. You don't always make the right decisions, nor do I, but we have that choice. I also think we can put GMO labels where those food labels are. And here's why it's important. Argentina just recently passed their GMO labeling laws, and it didn't hurt the companies. In fact, it gave consumers confidence that they were getting what they were getting. This is the right time to do it because we already are revising those food labels on products. We have a perfect storm to do the right thing in America. So you can all, if you care, and many of you won't, be able to see that it says GMO in there or non-GMO, and then no one's going to care after that, and it'll be a done deal. So in the meantime, what can consumers do?
Well, Gwyneth Paltrow is leading a petition right now. Go to justlabel.org and add your name. We're at about 250,000 signatures now. We'd like to get to 500,000 by the end of the month. Anything we can do to get folks to sign that petition and send that signal to Congress that you want the right to know is incredibly important right now.
So knowing what's in your food makes a difference. If you do care about GMO foods, you may not, but if you do care about buying non-GMO foods, there's a non-GMO label. It looks like this. You'll see it on packages now. Or you can buy organic. And then that way, at least you can control your destiny in the meantime. Don't get tricked by other labels like all natural, because they don't tell you anything about whether it's a GMO or non-GMO crop. When we come back, the food companies that have heard you have actually taken GMO foods off their menus and out of their food. You ought to know who's doing those things. That's next. Next.
Can a daily aspirin really prevent cancer?
I've been taking aspirin for the past 3 years, kind of wondering if it's still good to take aspirin.
This is why experts are concerned.
This one question you should ask to see if you should be on an aspirin regimen. Plus, his homemade clock landed him in handcuffs. But see what makes this science whiz tick. All new Oz.
That's coming up tomorrow. We're talking about the food fight of 2015, GMO labeling. Now, I believe in your right to know what's in your food, which is why today I'm bringing you some good news. There are companies, lots of them, who are responding to your calls for transparency and making the change to go GMO-free. Take a look.
At Chipotle, genetically modified ingredients no longer make the cut. It's the latest example of the food industry stripping away ingredients as consumers demand a say in what's in their dinner.
One company leading the charge is Unreal. They're responsible for making some of America's most iconic candy GMO-free. Its founder, Nicky Browner, is here. He is only 18 years old. Along with executive chef Sam Talbot, one of 700 chefs from around the country who signed a petition requiring food manufacturers to disclose their GMO ingredients. Sam, why is labeling so important to you and so many other chefs around the country?
Sure, you know, as a chef, we have a responsibility, right? If I, as a type 1 diabetic, if I go and I see you, you're my doctor, and I go into the office and I trust that you're gonna give me the information that I need, right, to get better, to live a long, healthy life. So, much with that responsibility, it transfers over to a chef. When you come into my restaurant, you're trusting the fact that I'm preparing the food, that I'm respecting the food, and ultimately knowing where the food came from, you know, to give it accountability and traceability, and to not be able to, as a consumer, not have the right to know whether or not your food has a GMO. It's a shame. It's a crime to me. You know, it's just, I think we need to know.
Now, you're one of the youngest folks out here really fighting for this issue. Why do you care so much about it? You're 18 years old.
Well, 5 years ago, I came back from trick-or-treating, had all my Halloween candy, and my parents took most of it away, like usual. So I wasn't very happy. I decided to do some research, you know, why are these candies so bad for me? What I learned led me to start this company, Unreal. And what Unreal is doing is showing America that we can remake their favorite foods. We're actually starting with chocolate candies, which America buys $11 billion of each year. You can make these foods and candies without all the chemicals, the additives, the preservatives, without a lot of the sugar, and remake them to taste even better.
Thank you both for doing what you're doing. I appreciate having an 18-year-old want to get involved in this discussion, since after all, his generation will live with today's decisions. And I adore having a chef who feels an obligation to tell his customers exactly what's in their food. So thanks to both of you. Listen, the food label has always empowered us to decide what foods are best for you and your family. Even if scientists and consumers don't agree on what is healthy or not, the right to know what's in your food should always be yours. This debate is not about the safety of GMOs. This is a simple matter of transparency. If we're all trained to look on for the information label on all the foods we buy to guide our personal decisions, no matter our biases, then we should include information about GMOs on the label as well. We'll be right back.
Next, do your friends have finicky food preferences? Hard to enjoy a meal every time you dine out with them?
With the chicken well done, real dry. I don't want raw. Yeah, I don't want it touching my...
Okay, find out the science behind why some people are picky eaters. Coming up next.
Today's conversation, picky eaters. Now, growing up, there wasn't much of an option in my household. Whenever we had food, you have to eat it, and you're going to like it that way. I had no choice. Many of the audience members here, though, may consider themselves picky eaters. And there's actually some science behind why some people are pickier than others when it comes to food. It's called being a super taster. It's when your tongue sends a more than normal strong signal to your body, to your brain, saying, you know what, that's got the taste to it. Super tasters often have more taste buds. That's why, for example, kids don't like some of the things that adults like. So who here, I'm just gonna audit you guys a little bit, who here has actually eaten a meal before going out to eat because they're so picky? Hands up. Oh, we got the first one right here. What are you? What's your name?
My name is Janine. While my fiance already knows before we go to a barbecue or anything like that, I'm definitely making a pit stop to the local fast food because I know what to expect. We all know when we go to barbecues, we're gonna have macaroni salad or potato salad. I hate potato salad. Potatoes with mayonnaise just doesn't mix. Just doesn't.
But you like the fast food?
Absolutely.
Is it upsetting?
It sounds like it is.
All right. How many of you have said, I haven't tried it, but I don't like it? Oh, go ahead.
She's actually my picky eater. But yeah, so we'll go out someplace, and it's specifically fish. She's not a fish person. No seafood.
No seafood, but you haven't had much of it?
Never. I've never had seafood.
How do you know that you don't like it?
I don't know. She's adamant about it. We'll get sushi. All girlfriends go out for sushi. We'll be like, do you want to try some, Caitlin? Even like miso soup, where like we've told her it tastes kind of fishy. She's
So I'll share a story with you. I'm like you. So when I was a freshman in college, my roommate, who was this big, tall basketball player, looked above the fridge one day and said, what do those things taste like? And I said, what? There's just some bananas up there. He says, yeah, bananas. What do they taste like? So you've never had a banana? No, I didn't think I liked the taste. I never tried them. This is about 18 years of age, so you're not alone, Caitlin. All right. Now, who in this audience is holding the secret? Well, there's somebody in the audience who's going to turn in her picky eating friend. Take a look.
Okay, every time I go out to eat with my girlfriend Ro, it is such a pain. She is the pickiest eater. You're just gonna have to see it to believe it.
Let me get the chicken bacon ranch, but I don't want Swiss. And I want the chicken well done. I don't want the ranch dressing on it. Real dry, I don't want raw. The coleslaw and the pickles. Yeah, I don't want it touching my other food.
No problem.
Because then it gets a little wet. And just check on the fries, because if it's cooked in the same oil, then I don't want it. Oh, and could I get a water with lemon? With the lemon on the side?
Whoa, that is a lot of rules.
I like my food all together.
Yeah. Any idea that you're being taken advantage of by your good friend over there?
No, I thought she was texting her kids.
You think you'll ever eat with Diane again?
No.
Never again. That's it, the last time.
I'm never eating with her again.
It takes a lot of time to get in order. Thank you both very much for being played. All right, up next, Sandra Lee shares her story about a life-changing decision after her cancer diagnosis.
Coming up next, a daytime exclusive, celebrity chef Sandra Lee speaks out. Her controversial decision to undergo a double mastectomy.
I'm not going to wait and see what cancer does. I know what cancer does. I am not going to be a ticking time bomb.
Can a daily aspirin really prevent cancer?
This is why experts are concerned.
Plus, his homemade clock landed him in handcuffs. See what makes this science whiz tick. All New Oz.
That's coming up tomorrow. My next guest is a friend who recently made a tough decision about her own body that she hopes has saved her life.
I've got a recipe for you that you are going to love.
Author, Emmy-winning TV host, and food and lifestyle guru Sandra Lee does it all. Along with her popular cooking shows, Sandra's longtime relationship with New York Governor Andrew Cuomo has her constantly in the spotlight. Having spent her career sharing her home and her life with her viewers, it came as no surprise when the Food Network star publicly shared her devastating breast cancer diagnosis and decision to undergo a double mastectomy this past May. After a successful surgery, Sandra was unfortunately met with yet another setback on her road to recovery when she was hospitalized for an infection as a result of the operation. After extended hospital care and healing at home, she is on the mend. Today, Sandra Lee opens up on her comeback from cancer.
Sandra made her first public appearance since her surgeries this past Sunday night at the Emmy Awards, looking very healthy and happy, I should say. Beautifully adorned. It's been a little over a month since you had the second operation for the infection.
Mm-hmm.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. It's over. And you know, we took a lot of pictures right before I went into that operation. I knew after that operation it was going to be over. And so I was just happy and thrilled and relieved. So I wanted to get out of the hospital. And there's this unusual thing happened to me when I had my double mastectomy. The next day, I was literally up rearranging flowers. I had some friends over. You know some of them.
You called me that day. We spoke.
We spoke. I don't remember a thing. I don't do well on drugs. I've always wanted to do, but I don't.
It was a very interesting conversation, right?
It was an interesting, was it?
Yes.
I'm like, I'm eating a lot of cream of wheat and watermelon. No, you must have oatmeal. Yeah, I'm a little plugged up.
That's right. It happens after surgery.
Yeah.
So take me back to the moment when you first heard those fateful words, you have breast cancer.
Well, I had just come off of the photo shoot for People's Most Beautiful. Mm-hmm. I was off my set 15 minutes and I was in a cab. And I don't think any doctor should tell a patient that they have breast cancer on the phone. I just don't. How about get your rear end in the office? We need to talk. Yeah. That's fine. You can be stressed out on your way there, but not in the cab. I'm just saying. Yeah. And I was just stunned. I called Andrew. I called my sister. By the time I got in the restaurant, I got a big drink. And I called the rest of my family. Hey, you can have a cocktail when someone tells you have breast cancer. It's fine. You should.
Let me catch you all up. Sandra was diagnosed with one of the most common forms of breast cancer, and it was caught very early. But after her initial lumpectomy, she decided to have a mastectomy, in fact, a double mastectomy. Mm-hmm. So why did you decide to take both the breasts off, even though the problem was in one side?
Well, you know, I had DCIS. Can be in one area of your breast. I had it in 4 different areas. And by the time I had gone in there 13 months after my last mammogram, it was all over the top part, kind of spread out like a fan. Yeah. And my doctor said when she was in the operating room with me, when she finally got in there 6 weeks later, she said it was everywhere. And so I'm so thrilled I made that decision because you just don't know what you're dealing with. Yeah. And there was a New York Times article, which I know you want to talk about a little later, but I'm going to bring it up now, that after I got done, I called my doctor right away and we had a big discussion. And what that article had said is, with DCIS, you should wait and see what happens. I'm not going to wait and see what cancer does. I know what cancer does. Mm-hmm. I am not going to be a ticking time bomb, which is what my radiologist said about the side that did not have the DCIS. And I just said, you know, if I'm in there, I'm done. Just get it out. This is over. The party is over. Get it out. And that was the end of it.
So we're talking a lot in this show about taking the advice that you get and customizing it to you. So let me get everyone to understand what DCIS is. It's a very common type of breast pathology. But the argument really is people don't know how often it becomes the kind of invasive cancer that we read about and takes so many lives. So I'll show everyone a little picture. If you look at the breast where the milk ducts are, those little tubes are where those cells start to get abnormal. And sometimes it's just a predictor that you might get cancer. Sometimes it actually becomes aggressive cancer and kills people. And that's the dilemma that we face. And the interesting thing about medicine is we're often confident in the moment as we make decisions, but it changes because we learn new things. Mm-hmm. So you have no regrets at all. If you'd seen that paper before your surgery, which I know it wasn't published yet, but would it have changed your mind?
Absolutely not. It would have given me more conviction because I think there's so much conflicting information out there. And if we could bring that picture back up again, can we just look at something?
Sure, yeah, put the picture back up there.
That right there, do you see that? That's a little highway. All those little roads, and it's going to spread, at least mine, was spreading all over all those little highways. Yeah. And I was not going to take a wait and see attitude. That's just not who I am as a person. Yeah. We all have to make our own decisions.
Exactly right.
But I'm not living that way. And at 48 years old, it's not like I was 87 or 90. Where it's like, okay, we'll wait and see. I mean, I got to go someday, right? Not at 48. And if you have the option to take control of your life and you're dealing with cancer, I just think that there's no negotiating with it. I'm not going to negotiate with cancer.
It was scary. The whole process, the decisions, the surgery.
I go the opposite way. If I'm scared of something, I'll go at it as opposed to hide from it. So for me, the decision was pretty easy. I don't plan on going anywhere. My party is not over. Cancer's party's over.
So, the governor, Governor Cuomo.
Isn't he great?
How has it affected you? He is great. He's great at a personal level, but I'm curious about your personal relationship with him and how that may have been changed by all this.
We have definitely gotten a lot closer through this. And all the nonsense, the nothingness of nothing just goes away. There's no reason to
pretend,
have anything but love and fun together. Right? It doesn't matter if they drive a little fast or lay on the couch and squish the pillow. It's all good.
Does he do all those things?
He does all those things.
Yes, correct.
No, he pushes the dishes in the dishwasher.
You very provocatively argue that cancer actually has made you a better person.
It's made me a much more in tune with my body person.
Mm-hmm.
It's made me much more aware to take control and be extremely aggressive with my health because none of us are getting younger.
Mm-hmm.
We can do all the pretty stuff we want to make our outsides look great, but we got to take care of what's inside as well.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
So beautifully stated.
Mm-hmm.
I want to introduce you to somebody. Kara's sitting over there. She's a cancer survivor as well. She was diagnosed with breast cancer when she was very young, and she has found your message inspiring. Kara, the floor is yours. How has cancer changed your life in a positive way?
Yeah, so I was diagnosed with breast cancer when I was 26. It was stage 3, and so I went through a double mastectomy, chemotherapy, radiation. Happy to say now 6 years cancer-free, and I'm feeling fabulous. First, I also want to thank you so much for being such an inspiration to all of us who are fighting the fight, and fighting pretty, as I like to say. But I agree with you. I think, after going through something so traumatic, and especially at such a young age, I just value my body so much more now.
Well,
thanks very much.
Congratulations. Hold on, I got to hug her.
Give her a hug.
Hugging, yeah.
I want to thank Kara for you, but I want to thank you, Sandra. Today's show is all about getting folks to choose what's right for their body, and you're a shining beacon of light in that movement. So God bless you. I wish you the best.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. Later, what if your favorite go-to snack had an online dating profile? Would you find it sweet or just plain nuts? Finding the perfect snack is like finding the perfect date. If you knew what it was really made of, would you still be interested? Coming up. Today's show is all about choice. And I know a lot of you find yourselves in front of the computer confused over which solution is best for your body. There's so much information online, it can be hard to tell. I feel your pain. So today, another edition of the very popular Fix My Search is on our show. And this time we're going to cut through the web clutter to tell you which at-home heartburn solutions really work and which ones aren't worth your time. Yvette is here. Now, my producers say you are an Uber searcher. You're looking all the time for stuff.
You see this?
Is that...
This is 6 years worth of searching, trying to find the cure. And all I find is, a lot of advertisement for pills. I don't want to take pills.
So let's talk about your heartburn for a second. These are all heartburn solutions you're looking for. What have you done that works for it? How frequent does it happen?
At least 2 to 3 times a week, sometimes so painful that I think maybe I should be going to the doctor, but I don't, because I then just pop a little pill.
That makes
but
it a little better.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that.
So come on then. I'm going to walk you through some solutions here. What time of day do you normally get your heartburn?
Probably after lunch.
After lunch?
After lunch.
All right, so that's a clue. That's, by the way, what comes in handy. So what we're going to do today is going to go through some of the solutions you found that were particularly prominent if you were to normally search, reflux or indigestion or whatever. And then I got my ozometer.
Oh.
We're just going to grade each of these ideas, and then we're going to explain why they're the way they are. All right? So we're going to start with the first one. The first one is all about, again, for heartburn, severe acid reflux, it's all about eliminating carbonated beverages. Have you seen that written on different message boards?
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's one of my downfalls.
You like carbonated beverages?
I do.
How often do you drink them?
Sometimes 3 to 4 times a week.
Just before lunch, usually?
With lunch.
I'm kidding. Right after I eat carbonated beverages, I have pain. All right, so that's an interesting observation a lot of folks are making online. So you hold that for 1 second. In fact, you know what? Let me hold this because you're going to need your hands. It's a little demonstration. We're going to discuss carbonated beverages, and I'm going to explain to you how I feel about them. Do you think they work as a? Do you think, first of all, do you think they caused your heartburn?
They can't be helping, but they do taste good sometimes. So.
All right, let's put the altimeter up there. It turns out that it burns the bus, but there it is. It might work.
Might work.
Yes.
Wow.
And so that's why it's worth paying attention to. I'm going to explain why. This is so important, folks, because you want to customize these ideas to you. Everyone walks in there thinking, well, it makes intuitive sense as a problem, but if you actually experiment with it, it might not be as clear. So this is the average intestinal system, right? There's your swallowing tube, there's your mouth up here, there's your stomach, that little pink thing. Go ahead and put some plain water in there. When you put plain water through your mouth to the swallowing tube into your stomach, it puts a little bit of distension into the stomach. Pour it in there as fast as you can. Do as fast as you can. The stomach fills up, then you have a sphincter. If you haven't spilled it, there's a sphincter, and that sphincter keeps what's in your stomach from going back up again. It's the going back up again that causes the problem. All right, now, this time we've got carbonated water. Again, pour it as fast as you can in there. I'll put my little thing on over here. Pour it as fast as you can. There we are. There we are. Now, watch what happens to this stomach. Carbonated water distends stomach. See this water stomach, small, carbonated stomach, big, and getting bigger. Now, here's the problem.
Yeah.
People deal with this distension differently. Some folks have no problem with it. They push it down. For them, it's not an issue. Other people, well, you ever get the sensation after lunch?
Yeah, that's it.
Burping?
Yeah.
Right. So if you have to burp, if the acid has to come back up again, that's going to give you reflux. For you, it's a problem. For the rest of the folks, it's not a problem. So it might help, it might not help. You got to try that one and see what makes a difference for you.
Okay,
All right,
let's do that.
Well, the second idea, it's a very old remedy. It said to sleep on a bed with a pillow or with the bed headstand up so that you're on a little bit of an angle. So go ahead and lie on that. Now, you read about these ideas as well.
Yeah, this is just not very comfortable.
Not comfortable, is it?
No, not at all. I mean, you can't sleep like this.
So I have a hybrid. I have an idea. First of all, let's put it in the osmometer. In the osmometer, this absolutely does work.
Oh,
and it
boy.
makes sense why it works, because the gravity is pushing the acid down. It can't go back up and burn your swallowing tube. But these pillows I don't like much. First of all, they're not comfortable. Second, you roll off them.
Right.
You know what I do? I put the headstand up a little bit. Put 2 thick books underneath the headstand or wooden blocks. When you put a little bit of an angle in the mattress, just a little bit, just the gravity is enough to push the acid down. That, my friend, will work for you.
If you tell me it's going to work, I believe you.
Well, this way you're going to prove.
And I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back and tell you if it worked.
I got it.
Okay.
In fact, you know what we're going to do? You're going to do it right now, and we're going to post immediately, so people don't have to even wait for you to come back.
Okay.
We'll know if it works or not. Listen, the best, you can sit up there. The best tip I can give anybody is try these ideas. Customize them to yourselves. There's no simple fixes. No one who's posting an idea on the web is going to know who you are exactly. But the ideas are often worth trying out. So thank you for doing all the searching with us.
I will
All right.
try.
We'll
Thank
be right
you.
back.
All right. I will definitely try this.
Later, what the foods you choose say about your personality. Can a daily aspirin really prevent cancer?
This is why experts are concerned.
Plus, his homemade clock landed him in handcuffs. See what makes this science whiz tick. All new Oz. That's coming up tomorrow.
Everything on our phones, even dating. But any woman will tell you that you can't judge a book by his cover photo. So what about food? Same thing may apply there. Can you tell what's a good choice just by the way it appears? What do you guys think? We're going to find out today. We wanted to find if your favorite snack had a dating profile, right? Would you swipe right to get the romance going, or would you swipe left to break it up? Renata has become one of my go-tos for all things food and diet, and she's here to try everything out. And she happens to be an expert on many things besides food. So this is sort of like Tinder. I'm not on Tinder. I don't know. Do you have any experience on the site?
Dr. Oz, hello. Yes. You don't know what Tinder is? Yes, Tinder is very popular for dating. And of course, you know, you said this was a dating show, so I had to come cute, okay?
You are cute.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. But yeah, Tinder is if you like what you see, you swipe right. And if you don't like what you see, you swipe left and get rid of it.
All right. So we're going to give you snack profiles as if they were on Tinder. I want your audience to play along with me. We got to decide if you would take the bait on these things or not. The first profile is kettle-cooked potato chips. Let's see what these are about. Here's the profile, right? Nice picture, by the way. We can cuddle up together with a good movie. I'm more sophisticated than the other chips. I've been told I look healthier, too.
Sounds good.
Do you think they look healthy? Why do folks think that?
They do look healthy. Well, I mean, come on now, crunch. It gives a good crunch with the kettle chips. I mean, it's a good snack at night you want to cuddle up with. Absolutely. So, yes, I would swipe to the right for the kettle chips. Yeah.
Audience, what do you guys think? Would you guys swipe right or left? They're even with their hands pushing out. They like kettle chips. All right, so go ahead and swipe it right. You're going to take it that way. And it turns out, here's the information you should know.
There you go.
You got to get into the details. 160 calories, 9 grams of fat, 2 grams of protein.
That sounds good.
You know what? This is sort of like a guy who's got a really fancy car, but you're not quite sure if they can pay the bills. So,
and I don't want that,
you don't want
Dr.
that.
Oz.
It might be okay. It might not. We're not sure. Okay. Now you got a little flow for this. Okay, let's take on granola. That's the second profile. All right, let me just read it first. Then I'm going to ask you if you like granola. All right. I tend to be a little nutty at first, but I'm super sweet. People say I'm pretty healthy. I'm definitely the outdoorsy type. Granola, outdoorsy. Do you eat granola very often?
I do eat granola, but not a lot, because I know it can be a bamboozler, just like some of these men out here on Tinder.
Yes,
okay.
that happens
So granola, I think I'm going to swipe left for granola.
Before you toss it out the window, this is our audience smartest on television.
Okay,
Let's get their opinion. What do you guys feel about granola? Right. They all like granola. Are you gonna stick? Look, you're a strong-willed woman. You're going to stick to your guns on this. You're going to continue the romance.
I'm sticking to my guns.
So you're going to break it off with granola.
I'm breaking it off with granola. Granola is a bamboozler.
All right, let's find out if that's right. 226 calories.
What'd I tell you?
Yes, you're right. You're right, Renata.
Okay.
And only 2 grams of protein. You ought to be careful out there. I tell you, granola looks good, looks outdoorsy, but it's more of a couch potato. Be thoughtful about that. Next profile. This is a very popular one, movie theater popcorn. Why don't you read this for everybody?
Okay.
They're salivating as we read these.
Let's see. I may start off simple, but when things heat up, I really come out of my shell. You can't just have one of me. He sounds like a something.
He sounds like So what is it that makes that popcorn taste so good in the movie theaters?
It's the butter. It's the butter. Yes.
It coats your tongue.
I mean, salivating. Yes. I mean, and then you got movie theater butter. I mean, that's the best one. But of course, I'm sure he. I didn't call them he. Yeah, I called the popcorn he. Okay, no. But no, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Yeah.
What do you guys, audience? You love popcorn too? Yes. We're getting a lot of no's. Let's see if there's right. They sort of knew.
Mess.
664 calories. It's a mess.
No, he's a no-no.
Not good stats in the movie theater popcorn. Right. Here, this is what you want to do with movie theater popcorn? You want to divorce movie theater popcorn and bring your own from home.
Right.
That's what you want to do.
Because he's making me fat, and I don't want that.
No, we don't want that at all. So let's turn it on with the last option here. This profile is of pistachio chips. Go ahead and read this one too. You'll be good at
Okay, he could be a trickster too. Let's see. I'm just your type. And I get it cracking. You can never get enough of me. Baby. Okay, I'm sure. He's absolutely right. Lord, why am I calling the food he? Okay.
It's attractive. It's got the whole package.
But yeah, pistachios are good, but not good for me.
Not good
so
for
he
you.
goes left.
Audience, you think that's right? Left or right? They want to go right. You gonna stay loyal, or are you gonna?
I'm gonna stick to my guns. Pistachios, nuts, can be oily, all that kind of stuff. Right.
Let's find out pistachios' true colors. That's why we're playing the game.
Right.
True colors are a lot of calories. Here's the deal. 562 calories, 20 grams of protein.
Yeah.
Even though they're high in calories, they are so loaded with the good fats, so loaded with the protein, they help your cholesterol, your heart.
All right.
You know what? You ought to settle down with pistachios. That's a long-term relationship we're talking
about. I'm going on a few more dates with pistachios.
Renata is wonderful. Thanks for being here. Remember, when you choose what's best for yourself, your body thanks you in all sorts of great ways. Love you. We'll be right back.
From fit to fat, from eating healthy foods.
I was pre-type 2 diabetic and I put on 19 pounds.
How to spot sneaky sugar bombs before they blow up your healthy lifestyle. On the next Oz.
That's coming up on Monday. Welcome back. I'm here Roberta, and they say you are what you eat, and you look pretty healthy to me, Roberta.
I feel pretty healthy.
So if you could be any food out there, what food would you be?
I would be peanut butter.
Peanut butter?
Yes.
Just the way it coats your tongue?
I love peanut butter.
So you think of yourself as a fairly adventuresome eater? Are you picky?
Yes.
Adventuresome?
Yes, I'm not picky at all.
So what's one of the craziest things you've eaten?
I've had frog's legs, alligator, conch.
What does alligator taste like?
Chicken.
Of course, everything tastes like chicken.
It tastes like chicken, it's beef.
So we always say you are what you eat, but you literally can't be all vegetables. I've got cauliflower lungs here. I got a scallion for your windpipe, by the way.
Ooh.
But if you only ate vegetables, you wouldn't have much fun in life. So you want some diversity. So I noticed, by the way, you put some bread for thighs. Do you like bread?
I do like bread.
Of course, everyone does. These your thighs can burn off. Now, they are sausage for guts. And be careful with the lemons. You slip on the lemon peels for your feet. Come on over here. You're a doll for doing this. All right. So tomorrow, here's what you're going to be talking about.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to put these pictures, playful pictures, up on my Facebook site. And all I want you to do is figure out what your food personality is. Because, we always talk about your food personality. These are foods with personalities.
Okay.
So, for example, that one here, this looks like my daughter Arabella. Notice the little dollop of lips in the middle with big eyes. So who do you find in those pictures? That's maybe a friend or relative of yours. Maybe yourself?
This would be my husband right here.
Your husband?
Yes.
Why? He's traveling incognito?
First of all, he's got no hair.
No hair. He's bald?
Yeah, basically.
Any other redeeming qualities to your husband that reminded you? Is he purple skinned like that?
Well, he just looks cool, and my husband thinks he's a very cool, good-looking man.
Thinks?
Yeah, he thinks that.
Well, he's smart enough to marry you. He must be pretty cool.
That was smart.
Where is he? Is he up there?
He's right.
Wave to us. There's husband. All right. All right, listen. Take these images. They'll be on my Facebook site. You're going to tag your friends, remind them of what they look like, and spread the word. 'Cause remember, health and happiness starts at home. I'll see you next time.
Sure does.
Thank you. Let's get your husband.